tough weekend for them.
It really is. It is a tough weekend. There's festivities all weekend. The National Cemetery down in it's not Bunnell. Bushnell. Yeah, Bushnell.
Yeah, Bushnell.
Bushnell.
Florida.
Yeah, the Florida.
Right. Yeah.
The National Cemetery down in Bushnell. There's also a National Cemetery in Jacksonville. So if you get to go to anything they do, they really do a good job in honoring the men and women that have given the ultimate sacrifice. There will be an event Monday morning at the Veterans Memorial Park here in town. We will not be having a live show, by the way, Galen. You will not need to call in Monday because we will
I'll be at work.
We'll be observing Memorial Day. I will actually be at the Memorial Day remembrance at the Veterans Memorial Park. So we will not be having a show Monday morning. It will be nationally syndicated radio for Memorial Day. But just and I know you gave a sacrifice of 4 years of your life, and you got to see the world and everything. But there are men and women, I'm sure, that a few you probably even knew that didn't get to make that return trip home. And those are the people we remember this weekend.
Well, and it's as I've said, the Navy changed my life. So it's I don't know anybody personally who died in an act of war, but I served with a lot of men and women who would have gladly laid down their life if that's what it, or more importantly, call somebody else to lay their life down for their country. And so when we're coming off of a pretty big tragedy, and people talk about how America is dying, and there's insurrection, and we're running to our own little sides, and there's this huge divide. I hope during this weekend we can all agree that we still live in the greatest country this world has ever seen. As much as I rail against our government, I have the opportunity and the freedom to do so, and that I will never ever take for granted. So, and I think that's important.
Yeah, it really is. My cousin Stevie Vanderveer, he did 2 tours in Vietnam. Came back from one of the tours. He was at the time you didn't know they were Navy SEALs because it wasn't talked about back then. It was the Navy SEALs or something that you found out about in the 90s that they actually existed. But my cousin Stevie Vanderveer was part of the Navy SEALs. He had been to Vietnam twice. He came back. He was doing a training in Orlando down at the naval base. Remember the naval base and basic training and all were at Orlando.
That's where I served.
Yeah,
that's right with your basic.
Yeah, he was doing a training session there for scuba diving, and drowned actually in that training. So even though he was not killed in Vietnam in action because he was training to go back to Vietnam and all, he got the awarded the honors of being a casualty of war. And so I and as an 8-year-old kid, when my cousin Stevie would show up, and he'd show up in his Navy uniform and everything, and he was squared away. To me, he was a superhero, because as an 8-year-old boy, to see this guy come in, he'd been over to Vietnam and everything. You knew what he'd done. You'd seen pictures of him with his buddies that your parents would show you and all. So he was a superhero to me. So every Memorial Day weekend, I think of my cousin Stevie. And even though he wasn't killed in combat, he was training to go back to combat when he drowned in a training mission in Orlando. So, everybody's got a story. Almost everybody has a story when it comes to Veterans and Memorial Day. So please, just take a moment. I'm not saying take your whole weekend, but take a moment and say thank you. And I can't emphasize enough what you said, that no matter what we think, no matter, you like Joe Biden, you don't like Joe Biden, you don't like Donald Trump, you did like Donald Trump, you don't like the legislature, you do like the legislature, you don't like the court, you do like the court, whatever your issue is, remember, you could be in a place like Tiananmen Square where they run you over with tanks when you talk bad about the government. Or you could live in a place where they put you in prison, and who knows whether you live or die, like they do in Russia when you talk bad about the government. You could face immediate death when you talk bad about the Ayatollah or something like they do in Iran, we don't have, for all the problems we swear we have, we don't have any of those issues, and that's because we live in the greatest country in the world.
Well, and that's absolutely true. I think it's far worse than that in some places. In that, you can say something and be arrested for hate speech in countries like England.
Yeah.
I think again, I think during this weekend, if you do nothing else, if you just read your Bill of Rights and think about what that affords you. And by the way, that's not something the government grants you. This is and I try to explain this to people.
These are inalienable rights. It says so right there.
And what that means is these aren't the rights given to you by our country, right? These aren't rights granted by your country. No. These are rights that are yours as a human being that our country will protect. And so it's an act. We're not understanding the concept of the Bill of Rights. That's given to me by God, and you cannot take that away. Our government is built to protect that inalienable right, and I think that's a huge part of and needs to be a bigger part of the discussion, is that you cannot take away a right that the government never granted me. That was granted to me by God, not the government.
Yeah, and that's what it says right there in the Constitution. These inalienable rights.
That's it.
There's no other question. It says it right there in the Constitution. These inalienable rights.
And think about this. So after the Civil War, and the Confederate Army left, they were allowed to take their guns back with them home. Right? I mean, they didn't have to have this huge gun confiscation. They're like, no, you keep that, and we're going to build this together. And again, if Grant would have won re-election, I think the whole Reconstruction would have gone much better than it ultimately did. But,
certainly.
And I know, I think you and I have talked about that, but that's not what today is about. But again, just remember those rights that these men and women who served died for. Don't take them for granted.
Just remember, they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We got to take a break. We'll be right back after this. More with Galen, from Life South on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Are you or your loved one being released from a hospital and wondering how you'll manage? Inform your physician that you want to go to Palm Garden of Ocala at 2700 Southwest 34th Street for your rehabilitation. Palm Garden provides pain management, post-discharge follow-up, diabetic care, psychosocial support, and so much more. Plus, they even offer outpatient rehab. This award-winning care facility has a team of licensed professionals dedicated to enhancing your independence. Call 352-854-6262 today.
Nirvana, Ocala's premier medical spa, is leading the way in great skin with all the newest in treatment options, offering prejuvenation for younger clients and rejuvenation for all ages. Nirvana knows you want to look your very best. We want you to look like you, just better, brighter and younger, with all the newest and best in technology and all in the most beautiful surroundings. Like Nirvana Medical Spa on Facebook and find them on the web at nirvanamedicalspa.com. Become a better, brighter and younger you.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Are you wasting time boxing up packages and going to the post office or the UPS store? Are you tired of not knowing what you'll pay when you get there? Just Ship offers pickup service and flat rate packaging and postage rates, which takes the guesswork out of shipping while saving you time and money. So quit wasting valuable time and money. Call or text Just Ship at 352-234-3840. That's 352-234-3840. Just Shipped.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks on a Monday. I'm already saying it's next week, Galen. On a Friday, I'm your host, Tom Schmitz. Galen, you know, from Life South joins us. Thanks to the good folks at Penn Flooring, Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center, and Just Shipped. Yesterday afternoon, I saw a post come across my Twitter feed, and my immediate reaction was a word that starts with F and rhymes with luck. And I said, this can't be. He's too young. But it was true. Shoeless Joe Jackson, no longer with us. Or Henry Hill, depending on which movie you think was the one that makes you remember him more. And I'm talking about 67-year-old actor Ray Liotta, passed away in a Dominican hotel, at a hotel resort yesterday in his sleep. This is not the first American to die in a Dominican resort, Galen. I know that we're going to talk about Ray Liotta, but let's talk for a minute about, is it safe for Americans to go to the Dominican right now?
Well, we know the other three, right, and one was hospitalized and released, died from carbon monoxide.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking when Ray Liotta died, I'm like, well, he smoked enough cigarettes in that Goodfellas.
Well, yeah.
maybe that killed him. I'm joking. But yeah, I think the DR, you know, and it's a country I've been to. It's gorgeous. Got some explaining to do, right? I mean, you know, from an image standpoint, they've got some. And again, that country survives because of tourism. That's what keeps them afloat. So they've got some explaining to do.
Yeah, because tourism is their backbone. And
I think it's their whole skeleton.
Right. It really is. So they got some, you know, if Ricky Ricardo was with us, Lucy, you got some explaining to do. So
That's right.
let's get into the life of actor Ray Liotta. This is a guy who played Shoeless Joe Jackson in what you deem is the greatest baseball movie ever. I could make an argument for one other movie, but I won't, because Field of Dreams is very good, and I'm tired of you telling me I'm wrong, so I'll just go with you saying Field of Dreams. Best baseball movie ever.
You're learning.
And a funny story about it, Kevin Costner come out yesterday and gave his condolences to Liotta's family and everything, and he goes, you know, I've always been asked, and now I'll tell you, you know, the scene where Kevin Costner's Ray Kinsella throws a pitch in batting practice to Shoeless Joe Jackson, Ray Liotta's character of Shoeless Joe Jackson. Remember, he throws him a curveball, and Shoeless Joe sends it right back at him, right over his head, and almost takes him out?
Yeah.
That has actually happened in real time. That was not a movie stunt. That sequence that they filmed, Ray Liotta actually almost beamed Kevin Costner with that line drive. That was actually a actual true situation. That was not made for TV, made for movie or anything. Kevin Costner almost got beamed by Ray Liotta shooting that scene.
That's pretty great. I hadn't seen that. That's pretty great. I always figured that was just movie magic. That's pretty great, because the way Costner reacts to it is just fantastic.
Yeah, but that was his actual reaction, because he was like, I thought I was dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, and now knowing that, I figure they had like 50 takes, and they finally got one they liked. Yeah, and I think that's an important scene in the movie. Because,
it really is.
You know, Shoeless Joe hadn't hit in whatever many years, you know, because he's been dead. And yeah.
He said,
Right
what
after he
Kevin
said it
Costner said, what happened in that moment in the film is 100% real. God gave us that stunt. Now God has Ray.
Oh, that's a good line.
That's a really good line. Really good line. And not being long after that, Kinsella catches Jackson grinning at him. That's when he gives the line that says, if you build it, he will come. Although that's one of the most misquoted quotes in Hollywood history.
Absolutely.
Everybody thinks it says, if you build it, they will come. He doesn't. He says, if you build it, he will come. And we know he's talking about his dad.
Yeah, well, we don't know it at the time.
Right, but we do ultimately at the end of the movie, we find out he's talking about his dad. Now, Ray Liotta was also in one of my favorite movies. Well, no, it is my favorite movie. Who am I kidding?
Yeah.
It is my favorite movie of all time. Upon seeing it in 1990 in the movie theater, I said, well, this replaces Godfather and Godfather 2. And mine is actually, Godfather 2 is the second best movie. Godfather 1 is the third best movie. I think Godfather 2 was a better movie.
Wrong.
I
understand, but Godfather changed movie cinema. It's
they both
movie
they both
ever
won
made.
They both won the Academy Award. The only movie and sequel ever to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Right. But Godfather, I know we're getting off topic, but you could argue is the only perfect movie ever made. There's not a single scene in that movie you would change.
I don't know.
You wouldn't change any of the casting.
Nope.
It's a perfect movie.
I don't know that I'd change.
Movie.
I don't know that I'd change anything in Goodfellas either. I'm not. I don't know anything
there's a couple of scenes. Yeah, there's a couple of scenes that gets a little long. Once he goes out on the lam, I think it gets a little too long. But I respect what you're saying. I'm not going to argue it because Goodfellas is just a perfect movie.
You know, he had to beg Scorsese for that part. Ray
Absolutely.
Liotta. Scorsese didn't want him, didn't know him, didn't want him, didn't think he would fit. And Ray Liotta's like, I'm a Jersey guy. I know these guys. I hung around these guys growing up. I need to be in this movie. And he begged Scorsese. Actually, Scorsese said it got close to stalking. It's how he categorized what Liotta did. But once you've seen the movie, there's nobody that could have played Henry Hill like Ray Liotta did. I mean, it was
you can't imagine anybody in that position. That's for darn sure. But I will say, it's by far and away Ray Liotta's greatest movie.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Nothing even close.
Do you know who actually read for that part first? Joe Pesci.
Go ahead. Yeah, I know that. They were gonna, and then they ended up flip-flopping, which is absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Because Joe Pesci Henry Hill was a smaller guy. The guy that Joe Pesci plays, Tommy, in the movie, was actually, in real life, 6'4" and about 250 pounds.
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's remarkable, but it's by far and away what made Ray Liotta a household name. I mean, it is by far and away his best movie.
Well,
you could have put anybody in a Shoeless Joe, with all due respect to Ray. You could have put me or you as Shoeless Joe, because the script itself and Kevin Costner's portrayal of it was so good, it didn't matter.
What was the movie where he was the cop that was the next door neighbor and he was the bad guy in that movie? He was a crazed cop and he made his neighbor's life a living hell that lived next door to him. I forget that. Was Denzel Washington? I don't know who was in that movie, but that was a pretty good movie too.
Talking about Copland? Is it Copland?
Was it Copland? I don't know if it was Copland. I'm looking at this.
He's played a bunch of cops.
Yeah, he has.
By the way,
but all of them bad. All of them bad, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he was, or a Secret Service agent, or there was a ton of different stuff.
There
and
really
of course,
was.
I think I know he was in Wild Hogs, but was he?
Yeah, he was in Wild Hogs.
That opening.
He was definitely in Wild Hogs, which made me laugh.
Was he here? Was he?
I don't know if he was here.
I don't
know if he was here or not. I don't know if he was here or not.
I know he wasn't one of the four. Don't get me wrong. I know that, but I didn't know if he came to the premiere.
I don't know if he was here or not, but I know that he did he did a lot of movies. He was a great character actor, but he'll always be known as Henry Hill. Always.
and there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, if you're going to be known for a movie, might as well be. If it's not in your top 5 movies, you're not a man. Like you're obviously a female, and like Sleepless in Seattle. Or secondly, you've never seen the movie. Those are the only 2 options.
You know, a movie that he doesn't get credit for, and I watched it when it came out on TV. It was a made-for-TV movie. You know, he played old Blue Eyes in a made-for-TV movie called The Rat Pack. And you got to go look it up. Go find it. But he played Frank Sinatra in a movie called The Rat Pack that was made for TV. It's a pretty good movie. So,
okay.
Hey, we got we Ray Liotta, you know, Henry Hill. Henry, hey, Jimmy, I got to go. It's Karen. I got to go. It's Karen. That scene where he takes the gun and pistol whips the guy for molesting his girlfriend, that may be one of the best scenes in Hollywood history. That may be. What, you want some? He gave him some, all right. We got to take a break. We'll be right back with the last segment of the week with Galen from Life South. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. It says WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Russia's separatists in eastern Ukraine claimed full control of the important battlefield town of Lyman on Friday, and Ukrainian officials concede as Moscow presses its biggest advance in weeks. Lyman is a major railway hub and has been the front line as Russian forces press down from the north while attacking Ukraine's industrial Donbas region. A new bipartisan Senate group on gun control is hyper-focused on a deal that Democrats want, the ability to red flag Americans with legislation that would allow authorities to temporarily take away guns from people considered to be a threat to themselves or others. The Republicans involved are Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, Susan Collins from Maine, retiring Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania, and Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana phoned in. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell from Kentucky gave the negotiations his okay. USA Radio News.
Here's a question for you. Why is it that some people aren't as stressed out about the future as you'd think they'd be? Answer? They're probably among the millions of Americans who have prepared themselves with emergency food storage from My Patriot Supply. If the worst ever happens, literally millions of American families are already protected from dealing with empty store shelves. Is yours? If not, go to MyPatriotSupply.com right now and grab some emergency food kits, at least one for each member of your family. These kits give you a wide variety of delicious meals that average over 2,000 calories per day. Everything stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. Order your kits now by going to MyPatriotSupply.com. Your order will ship fast and arrive discreetly in unmarked boxes. Listen, this is something you need to jump on now, before the next news headline stuns the world. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmett Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 352-400-4550. That's 352-400-4550. QC Kinetics, 400-4550.
The Golden Spoon Diner and Seafood New York Style Diner. Our breakfast special, 2 eggs, hash browns, or home fries, toast and coffee included, just $4.49, 7 to 9 a.m. Try our all-you-can-eat fried catfish dinner. We also have mahi-mahi and grouper, all with 2 sides. Our prime rib dinner is available Thursday through Sunday after 4 p.m. Wow, how about our wings? 10 for $12.99. Say you heard this on WOCA and receive 10% off. Dine in and carry out. The Golden Spoon Diner, located in the Heathbrook Plaza. Call 352-300-3999.
Longer days are a welcome sight, just like these unbeatable prices at Rural King. Get 4 gallons of Pool Shock liquid chlorinator for just $9.99 a box. Or Taste of the Wild High Prairie grain-free dog food for $49.99 a bag, in-store only. And don't miss out on assorted veggie or herb plants for just $3.99 a piece. Shop these deals and more at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Beautiful 2-piece sectionals starting as low as $19 per month. Sofas for as little as $10 per month. Kick back in a new recliner for as little as $11 per month. Plus, you can save up to $700 off the Ashley Reeling Queen Bed and Dresser Mirror Set. And save 25% off all outdoor furniture. Mattresses starting at only $3.99. See it, buy it, take it home. It's Blockers Furniture Memorial Sale going on the entire month of May. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, Ocala.
Want to help kids in our community and win $10,000? Find out more and get your ticket at arnetthouse.org. Drawing is May 31st. You do not have to be present to win.
Now you've done it. Have you lost your mind? He's back. And you're listening again. A legend in his own mind. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Here's Tom Schmitz live on WOCA. The Source.
Welcome back to Ocala Talks. Galen Enoff from Life South joins us for his last segment of the week. Brought to you by the good folks at Just Shipped, Penn Flooring, and Palm Garden Health and Rehabilitation Center. Galen, big weekend this weekend, but really because of my childhood and my father being a mechanic and him being a big race fan and all, this weekend for me will be the Indianapolis 500 in the background Sunday morning and the Charlotte 600, Coca-Cola 600 in the background Sunday evening.
Well, it's an incredible automotive weekend. And let's be clear, Monaco is first, right? So you can wake up with Monaco. Scott Dixon on the pole, fastest pole sitter in the history of the sport. You know, they went 234 miles an hour around that oval. They're going over 240 miles an hour and then decide to take a left-hand turn and try never to touch the brakes. It's remarkable. I think Indy is finally starting to figure it out, the Indy Series. They have a good-looking car, and it is still all horsepower, right? They're not doing hybrid. And they seem to have figured it out, and they haven't lost their way the way NASCAR has. And so that's pretty interesting. But Monaco is just Monaco. It'll be a boring race, but it's still Monaco, and it means so much. And then you get the Coca-Cola 600, which I don't care much about for some reason. It's no longer much-watch TV, but I respect what you're saying, though.
It's Memorial Day weekend, though. It's just part of the weekend.
It is, but it also depends on what we got this weekend, where the NBA is, where the NHL is, and what's going to actually be played. You know, if there's a Game 7, I'll probably watch that instead.
Well, there's not going to be a Game 7 in the NBA Western Conference Finals.
No, there isn't. No, there isn't.
Golden State dispatched to the Dallas Mavericks. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye now.
Well, and it's too bad. Luka didn't play well in this game at all. Didn't look right. I don't know if he's battling injuries or what, but and the Warriors are a better team. He's got to get better defensively, and then B, they've got to get a secondary piece for him that can consistently give him some support. Because he was a man on an island, and then Golden State said, "We're just going to double team you," and guess what? They double teamed him every time he touched the rock.
Yeah. So I guess the Celtics and Heat play tonight. Is that correct?
That's right. And so and again, this has been a phenomenally fun series to watch. And there's reasons to like both teams. I like the Heat. I think the Heat are going to win it. And then we'll see. And right now it's do or die for the Heat, but it's going to be in Boston Garden. Sorry, I think I'm losing my voice. It's going to be in the Garden in Boston with all that history. And let's be clear, that I think the NBA wants that Celtics/West Coast rivalry. That makes for better TV. I just hope Jimmy Butler and the Heat can make it a Game 7, and then Sunday night we can sit around and watch a Game 7.
I'm not an NBA guy, but it is getting compelling. I watch the finals a little bit every now and then because it gets compelling, but, with the way it's going. But this Golden State team, I thought, like right before the pandemic, we were led to believe that window had shut and the dynasty was over and this was not a good team anymore.
Oh, well, they lost, Durant, but you got to remember they won without Durant.
Yeah,
they won
I know.
Before Durant got onto the squad, and now they're proving they can win without him, and it's most of the same pieces. So yeah, Golden State's a solid team. They're just solid, whether we like Steve Kerr or not. As politics, he's a heck of a coach. He's done a tremendous job of getting this done, and then Klay Thompson had a heck of a game last night, and Steph Curry goes off for 30, and Klay Thompson just shuts down Luka with the help of everybody else, and that's the ball game.
Let me ask you, we got about 5 minutes left with your segment. Let me ask you, you and I grew up, we're not exactly the same age, but we're not that far apart. So we grew up when a sport that doesn't matter anymore, or it seems like it doesn't matter, actually mattered. Well, in the United States. I remember as a young kid, single-aged, and then 10, 11, 12, all the way up to like 14 or 15, where you watched Wimbledon, you watched the Australian Open, you watched the French Open, you watched the U.S. Open. I didn't even know I had forgotten until yesterday, something popped up on Twitter. I go, oh, the French Open's going on? What is a sport that used to be so television-driven and was on all the time and people actually paid attention? What has happened to professional tennis where I didn't even know the French Open was going on?
Well, I think it's really easy. There's no good American, I'm sure there's no great American players. The Andre Agassi's, the
Pete Sampras,
the Connors, the McEnroe, the Pete Sampras. The list is long, right? And those personalities are gone, and there's nothing. This is going to sound weird, but tennis players have become really boring because two people dominated the sport forever: Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. Rafael Nadal owns the French Open.
He just had his 300th. He just had his 300th major tennis win. When he won yesterday, it was his 300th match win in a major.
I mean, okay, that's my point. He's so good on clay, you can't beat him, and so therefore tennis has become irrelevant in the United States. And there's no good tennis player.
Yeah,
right? Who's the best American tennis player? It's Serena Williams, and she doesn't play very.
Serena still plays tennis?
I mean, Venus. No, Serena. Yeah,
Serena.
The younger one. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought, okay. Yeah, see how much? And I mean, I used to go to, when I was 7 years old, I'd go to Boone Park in Jacksonville, Florida, and would try to learn to play tennis. I was terrible. It was just terrible. I'd sit there and try to play against the wall with the line painted on it, and the wall would beat me every time. Then I would try to play against other kids my age. They would just crush me. And so I just thought, maybe fighting the little kids a little better than playing tennis. So I would always do that instead. But, I tried to play tennis. I was terrible at it. I was not good. But I watched it on TV. It was a sport, everybody watched it. When people got up, there was a big deal about breakfast at Wimbledon. You know what I mean? It was a huge deal. And now it's nothing. Nothing.
And I also don't think it helped. Like, they tried to they pushed the Davis Cup on us for decades, and I don't think that's ever really taken.
Nah.
But it didn't help. I think the game of tennis did themselves a really bad service with the way they handled the whole thing with the Australian Open. They just went away, even though it's an outdoor sport. And the competitors are 100 feet from one another, right?
You're talking about Novak? Yeah.
Nokovic not being allowed to play in the Australian Open, then allowed, then not allowed, and then I don't think that helped him.
No.
But, yeah, I mean, Serena Williams, she's by far and away the face of American tennis.
And she
doesn't play.
And she doesn't play anymore. Galen, where's the Bloodmobile this week, today and this weekend?
Hey, this weekend we're going to be all over the place. We will be at Veterans Park on Monday, so please come by and donate there in honor of those that can't be there. We're going to be in Bellevue. We're going to be all over the place, but as always, we're right on the boulevard, open 7 days a week. LifeSouth.org. Get out there, give the gift of life, donate below.
Galen, I'll talk to you next week.
All right, bye.
Remember, Tuesday. We'll be back after this timeout.
Hey there, Congresswoman Kat Cammack here, your conservative voice in our nation's capital. I'm so proud to be an advocate for the over 65,000 veterans here in North Central Florida. The new Ocala VA clinic is now open, providing important primary care and specialty services. If you're a veteran in the Ocala area, thank you for your service. Feel free to get in touch with our team by visiting us online at cammack.house.gov. I'm Kat Cammack, and it is my honor to serve you.
This ad is paid for by official funds authorized by the U.S. House of Representatives.
Bumpin' Brave and Bold, the Orlando International Fringe Theater Festival is back May 17th through the 30th with over 200 shows. This unique cultural experience is held at Lock Haven Park. 2022 brings new and exciting features to the Orlando Fringe. You don't want to miss out. Tickets are available at orlandofringe.org. Again, May 17th through the 30th is the 31st Orlando Fringe, and it's sure to be the best yet. Get your tickets at orlandofringe.org.
Dad's service to our country is something we're so proud of. He made a difference and set a great example. Now it's our turn to honor the sacrifices he made for our family and this country. As veteran specialists, Hires Baxley Funeral Service helps us celebrate Dad's life and can help you too. Hires Baxley is here for you during your time of need or when planning for the future. For more information, call 352-484-4444.